Hi Kai, today we are going to create another useful console app. We are going to make a console app that will find duplicate image files. Open Visual Studio and create a new console application and name it Find Duplicate Image Files and ensure that Do Not Use Top-Level Statements is ticked. Once the program is created, delete the existing code. Then in Project Properties, set the target OS to be Windows. Now we are ready to add the code to find duplicate image files. We are now ready to accomplish our task, but first we have to make one assumption, that the duplicates are of the same file. If they are not the same, then we have to use a different comparison method where we look for files that are similar, but not exact duplicate. We will do a separate video for this. There are a number of ways of checking for duplicates. The usual way to check for duplicates is to take two images and compare these images, pixel by pixel. And if all the pixels match, then it's a duplicate. This way is very slow. The other way, and a better way, is to use file hashes. A file hash is unique mathematical representation of an image file. So instead of comparing images, pixel by pixel, we can compare the hashes of the file for duplicates. This method is a lot faster. We are going to use this method. So this is what we need to do. Firstly, we need to read the file names from the folder containing our images into a list. Secondly, we need to loop through each file in the list and create a hash for each. Thirdly, we then need to loop through each hash and compare it with other hashes, and if hashes match, then we have a duplicate. And finally, we then rename this duplicate file adding the suffix _duplicates. We can then check and delete those _duplicate files from our folder. We are now ready to go through the code. First we need to declare a variable. We need an images folder path that has all the images that we want to check duplicate for. We then use the directory .getFiles method to get all the file paths from this folder and store it into a list, like this. We then check if the list is empty, if so we exit this method. Now we call the getFileHashes method, passing in the image file list in the method parameter, like so. Let's go to this method. In the getFileHashes method, we do the following. First we create a dictionary variable to store our hashes, like this. The key of the dictionary will be the hash value. The value part of the dictionary will be list of files that are duplicate of this hash. We then loop through each file in the list, like so. At the start of the loop, we call the calculateFileHash method, passing in the file path in the method parameter. Let's go to this method and see how the calculation is done. In the calculateFileHash method, we use the MD5 hashing from the System Security Cryptography namespace. We encapsulate the hashing inside an using statement, like so. Using statement ensure resources are properly disposed of, even when a crash occurs. We then open the image file as a stream, also inside an using statement. And then calculate the hash value for this stream, like so. And finally we convert the hash into string and return this value. Once we got the hash value for the file, we return to the getFileHash method. Once we have the hash value, we can now check if file hash already exists. If it does, then we just add it to an existing dictionary entry. If the hash does not exist, then we create a new dictionary entry for this and add this value to it. Finally we return all the file hashes we calculated for each file. Now we are ready to check for the duplicate. Once we have all the file hashes, we can now check for duplicates. We do this by calling the findDuplicate method, passing all the file hashes in the method parameter. Let's go to this method. In the findDuplicate method we do the following. We loop through each file hash entry like this. At the start of the loop, we check if the hash entry value count is greater than 1. If it is greater than 1, this means that there are duplicate for this file hash. We then loop through each hash values and get the duplicate file path. We then use this file path information and use the pathCombine method to create a new file path, adding the word _duplicate to it, like so. And finally we rename the file. You can at this stage, instead of renaming, delete the file. But I want to check these duplicate files before I delete them. Now we are ready to run the program. Before we run the program, let's examine images folder. In the folder there are 10 files. File 9 and file 10 are duplicate of each other. So when we run our program, one of these files should be renamed to contain _duplicates. Let's run the program and see if that is the case. Run the application. Now check the images folder. Either file 9 or file 10 is renamed to be duplicate. And here we have the duplicate file. So our program has correctly identified the duplicate image. That's it. We have now made a console app that will find duplicate image files. Simple, wasn't it? The complete code is available in the description. You can copy-paste it into your project.